The papers that could have taken my house were dated 7 weeks before the accident. I did not know that when I came home from rehab. All I knew was that my right hand still shook from nerve damage, my legs did not do what I told them, and a gray duffel bag sat beside my front door with my name taped to the handle. Linda stood behind it with her arms folded. Not beside me, not near the wheelchair ramp. Behind the bag, like the bag was the message, and she was only there to deliver it. I tried to keep my voice steady. "You packed me a bag?" She did not say welcome home. She did not touch my shoulder. She looked past my chair toward the van driver waiting outside and said, "I packed what you'll need for now." For now? Then she said the line that split the room in half. "You can't stay here like this, Tom." I looked past her into the house I had paid for with 32 years of overtime at an auto plant in Warren, Michigan. My work boots were still near the garage door. My lunch cooler was still on the counter from the morning the line went down. "This is my house," I said. Linda glanced at the chair, then at the bag. "It was our house when you could help keep it running." That was the first time I understood she was not scared of losing me. She was scared of being stuck with me. 3 months earlier, I had been maintenance foreman on second shift. If a conveyor stalled, a press alarm tripped, or a lift table jammed, they called me. I knew that line by sound. That night, a transfer arm locked up with a new operator standing too close. I shoved him back far enough that he went down clear. I did not get clear. I remember Steele, shouting, and trying to get up while my body answered like it belonged to somebody else. Management sent flowers. The plant manager called me a hero. 6 days later, Human Resources sent forms about permanent restrictions and long-term disability. A company can praise you on Monday and replace you on paper by Friday. I hated more that Linda seemed ready before the company was. She visited rehab twice the first week. After that, she had reasons. Appointments, headache. Mark needed help with something. Her phone was always face down. I told her she did not have to come every day. I thought I was being kind. I was giving her time. Back at the house, she said she had arranged a room for me at an extended stay place near rehab. She said the house was not safe. She said she could not be my nurse. "I never asked you to be my nurse," I said. "No," she said. "You just expect everyone to rearrange their life around you."
Wait, he just came out of rehab and she already saying this? That's really cold.
I had rearranged my life around plant calls, mortgage payments, roof leaks, her mother's doctor visits, and every emergency on our doorstep. But I was too tired to list my receipts like a fool begging for credit. I refused the room. That sounds brave. It was not. It was me sleeping in the den while Linda stepped around my chair like furniture she had not decided where to donate. The duffel bag stayed by the closet because I would not unpack it. Inside were clothes, my shaving kit, my medication list, and a framed photo from Mackinac Island wrapped in one of my old work shirts. That photo bothered me more than the clothes. You do not pack a framed memory in a hurry. For 2 weeks, Linda used one word like a hammer. Realistic. Be realistic about your condition. Be realistic about money. Be realistic about what this marriage can survive. Then her brother Mark started appearing in the conversation before he appeared in the house. Linda said he knew a real estate contact and had looked at comparable homes nearby. I asked when my marriage became a committee. She said, when you stopped being able to handle practical things. On a Thursday night, she put a brown envelope on the kitchen table. "It's just paperwork," she said. "No paperwork that matters is ever just paperwork. There was a separation agreement. There was a quitclaim deed. Yellow tabs marked every place my hand was supposed to make her life easier. Initial here. Sign here. You want me to sign over the house. I want us to stop pretending," she said. "If it is in my name, I can handle the sale cleanly. You won't have to worry about taxes, insurance, stairs, repairs, any of it." She did not sound cruel. She sounded prepared. I asked for time. Linda said time was exactly what we did not have. Bills were coming. My disability decision was not final. Mark's real estate contact was ready. She sounded rehearsed. My hand was on the pen when my old union steward, Ray Delgado, called to check on me. I almost let it ring. Linda watched the phone like it had interrupted something private. I answered. Ray heard enough in my voice to say, "Tom, put the pen down." The next morning, he came over. Linda opened the door with a smile that did not reach her eyes. "This is a private family matter," she told him. Ray looked at the ramp I had paid a contractor to install with the last of our emergency fund. Then he looked at the duffel bag still by the closet. "Throwing a disabled man out of his own house stops being private pretty quick," he said. That was the first crack in her calm. Ray read the agreement at my kitchen table. He did not talk for a long time. He just turned pages like a machine had started running wrong. Then he tapped the top corner of the first page. "Tom," he said, "did you see this date?" The document had been prepared 7 weeks before the accident. My mind tried to protect her. Maybe it was a template. Maybe the date meant nothing. Maybe the service reused an old form. Then Ray flipped over the envelope. A printed label from a legal document service in Sterling Heights had Linda's name and order number and that same date. 7 weeks before the line took my legs from me, Linda had already ordered the door she planned to push me through.
Whoa, wait. 7 weeks before the accident? So this was really planned?
I looked at her. She did not deny it. She said I was unhappy before all this. All this, my chair, my shaking hand, my lost job, my bag by the door. She folded all of it into 2 small words and tried to make them sound reasonable. Ray took me to the Union Hall, copied every page, and called a disability attorney named Ms. Wexler. Her office had 3 chairs, a humming copier, and a stack of forms. But she looked me in the eye. "Your wife can want a divorce," she said. "She cannot pressure you into signing away property while telling people you were too impaired to understand what you were signing." For the first time since rehab, somebody spoke to me like I still had a mind. The first meeting nearly went bad anyway. Linda brought Mark. He wore a clean jacket and carried a folder thicker than mine. Before I finished my first sentence, he said the house had stairs, medical costs were rising, and Linda had carried the weight alone. He never called me useless. He was smarter than that. He called me unsafe. For 10 minutes, he made taking my home sound like charity. Even Ms. Wexler listened without interrupting. That scared me. Then Linda made one mistake. She said, "Tom never cared about planning ahead. Someone had to." Ms. Wexler opened my folder. "When did you first contact the document service?" Linda looked at Mark. Mark looked at his folder. "I don't remember," Linda said. Ms. Wexler placed the order record on the table. Same date, 7 weeks before the accident. Linda said, "That was only research." Ms. Wexler placed down a second page. It came from our household email account, the one we both used for bills and medical forms. I had found it while printing documents for the attorney. Linda had never expected me at that computer again. The subject line said, "House transfer after separation." The date was 12 days before my accident. In that email, Linda had written, "He will fight me on the house unless I have a reason he can't manage it." The room went quiet enough that I heard the copier click in the hallway. Mark leaned back like the chair had moved under him. Linda opened her mouth, but no clean sentence came out. Miss Wexler did not raise her voice. "So the disability was not the reason," she said. "It was the opportunity." Linda tried fear first, then exhaustion, then neglect. She said I loved the plant more than my marriage. Some of that hurt because parts of it were not empty. I had missed dinners. I had answered plant calls during conversations. But none of that gave her the right to use my injury as a weapon. Ms. Wexler slid the quitclaim deed back across the table. "He will not sign this. Any property discussion goes through counsel. Any attempt to transfer, sell, or cloud this title without clear consent gets challenged immediately, and the emergency funds moved after his hospitalization will be accounted for." Linda looked at me then, really looked. I think she expected anger, maybe begging, maybe the broken man from the entryway asking why she did this. I gave her one sentence. "You should have left while I was still walking. At least then you would not have had to pretend the chair was your reason."
Oh, that line hit hard. She really deserved to hear that.
The divorce took months. I lost sleep, savings, and the job for good. Some mornings I hated that house because every doorway reminded me what my body could not do anymore. But I kept it. Not as a prize, as a correction. The plant replaced me. My badge stopped working. My crew still called when a machine had a problem nobody could diagnose. At first, those calls hurt. Then a young press operator named Caleb called from rehab. He had torn his shoulder badly and was scared to fill out the wrong form. I almost told him I was not the guy anymore. Then I looked at the duffel bag. I had finally unpacked it, but I kept it in the garage above my old boots to remind me how close I had come to believing somebody else's version of my life. I told Caleb, "Bring every paper they gave you." That was the beginning. One injured worker became three. Three became a Saturday morning table at the Union Hall. I helped men ashamed of canes, braces, tremors, lifting limits, and jobs that treated them like problems. I did not know all the answers. Sometimes I just knew which question to ask before they signed. 2 years later, Linda came back on a Sunday afternoon. I saw her through the front window before she knocked. She looked older. So did I. She held her purse with both hands, the way she used to hold grocery bags. I opened the door but did not move aside. She looked past me into the house. The ramp was permanent now. The den had become an office. Thank you notes from injured workers hung on the wall. "I heard you help people now," she said. "I do what I can." Her eyes moved to the hallway, then the stairs, then back to me. "You changed the house." "No," I said. "I stopped asking it to be the old one." She said fear made people selfish. She said she had made mistakes. She said she had made mistakes. She said she did not know where else to go. I believed fear had been part of it. I also remembered the email, the bag, and her saying our house stopped being ours when I could not keep it running. She asked if we could talk inside. I said no, not loud, not cruel, just no. I gave her Min's Wexler's number because she said she needed advice about a family property issue. Then I told her to find someone who had nothing to gain from her fear. After she left, I called a man from Flint who had lost motion in his left hand. His voice cracked when he said, "I think my wife sees me different now. I don't want to be a burden." I looked toward the garage. "Being hurt does not make you a burden," I told him, "but it will show you who was only attached to what you could carry. Do not sign anything while you are scared." After I hung up, the house was quiet. For once, quiet did not feel empty. I rolled into the garage and looked at the duffel bag above my old boots. I left it there for one more minute. Then I dropped it in the trash. The bag landed soft. I turned off the garage light and went back into my house.
This story really teaches us something. Respect and loyalty should never depend on how strong or able a person is. Hard times are exactly when you find out who really stands by you. So I think, as I believe you guys know, that that was a fictional story that was um not happened, but this is what happening around us. So but this was totally a fictional, but we can take a lot of lessons from it. So I believe that's it for today's story. See you in the next one. Till then, take care of yourself and bye bye.